y'all, so this is my review for Blood, Sweat, and Heels, episodes 3 and 4 of season 1. So this episode opens with the aftermath of the dinner where everyone was coming at Demetria for her blog. So we have Melissa and Daisy together in Central Park, Geneva and Mica having lunch, and then we see Demetria having lunch with Bree. They're all talking about the incident. We see Mica telling Geneva that she didn't expect the two of them to go at it, but Geneva said that she intended on talking to Demetria in private, but Daisy came in guns a-blazing. Demetria says Daisy is desperate for attention, and she definitely felt ganged up on. Side note, we're only 3 episodes in, and this incident between Demetria and Daisy fractured their friendship way into season 2. So we see Geneva saying that her breakup was fresh. So for Demetria to write about it, it still hurt her a lot. So that's why she was so turned up about it. It seems like Demetria is willing to have a conversation with her and wants to take the high road, but for some reason with Daisy, it seems like she's just done with her. I do think it's funny though that by the end of the season, Demetria and Geneva are the best of friends. So next scene we're with Geneva at her day job. Now she is a writer and she lets us know that it's not paying the bills, but this is her actual job that she just got. She's a brand partnerships manager for Uptown magazine. I'm assuming when it comes to writing and journalism, she's just freelance at the moment. So then later we find out that the magazine she's working for is throwing her little welcoming party in Harlem, and she's gonna invite all the ladies. So next scene we're with Mike and her man Terry at the park playing basketball. I know exactly where they are in Harlem. So she's just telling us in her confessional like about their relationship and how they're building their trust back. I wonder, are they just playing basketball for this scene? Cause I don't know, it doesn't seem authentic to me. Oh my God, why does she keep falling on the court? Anywho, she's talking about her relationship with her dad. They're not on the best of terms. She hasn't spoken to him in a year. And I think she's aware that he's sick around this time because he becomes a major plot line on the show. Next scene with Daisy being a boss bitch. Look, I love this show and actually showing real women's lives in the city. So this company wants to highlight her book and they want to make a digital version with her on the cover. Child, those women were not lying. This is a Gayle King wig. Like a young Mama Joyce wig. Ooh, if it's one thing Daisy is, it is bubbly and gregarious. Wow. Like you rarely see her frown on this show, which is a good thing. Next scene we're with Mica at her place of business, Mica Models. It's a modeling agency where it's very similar to the Bailey agency, but I think this one she actually has clients. We think a little bit about her background and she says, you know, despite my appearance and fair skin, both of my parents are black. I think she brought this up because it's something she's constantly asked, like me when I'm hearing, how tall are you? Next scene we're with Geneva and Demetria meeting up for lunch to hash things out. They get right into it, and Geneva's just saying her perspective and how it hurt her feelings. And, you know, she's heard negative things about Demetria. Now, instead of this going left, Demetria does tell her experience about, hey, I've never snooped before. If you've heard that, it's a lie. Like, because, look, when I was younger, my mom told me that you can't keep a man that don't want to be kept. But that's just been her outlook on men. She feels like she doesn't have to snoop. Geneva then is really receiving what Demetria is saying. They're not yelling at each other. And she says, you know what? I mean, I don't give a damn about the blog. We could agree to disagree. And that's when Demetria interrupts her and says, you know, it was never my intent to hurt your feelings with my blog. So if I did, I apologize. And it's squashed. And I really feel like they could have did that had not Daisy kind of went in guns blazing. At the same time, though, I think Demetria shouldn't have been surprised that the ladies were angry with her because she was very cavalier about writing about the situation on her blog. So she should have expected a reaction from the ladies. Next scene, we fast forward to the night of Geneva's party. She's getting ready. She's talking to her mom, and she's very candid, like saying that she still asks her mom for money. And I mean, hey, I don't knock her for it because, look, that's what parents are for. Like, my mom always asks me, do you need something? You grocery shopping? You want some money? I'm like, you know what? I am still a freelance person. I don't have the traditional 9 to 5. If my mom wants to help me, of course, I'm going to take that help. Side note, oh my God, the phone she's talking to her mom on, I think that's like an iPhone 4 or 5. Again, it's like looking into a time capsule. So next we're at Mica's while she's getting ready. Melissa's coming over too because Melissa lives in the financial district. Mica lives in Harlem, that's where the party is. So she decides to just get ready there. You know, Mica already got that glass of wine in her hand, and Melissa's like, oh, girl, the day I had, I need a glass of wine. It looks like real estate is still kicking her ass. They're then talking about the party for Geneva, and they don't even know like what position she has or what the party is even for. It is kind of weird that they're having like a party for her when it's just like a brand managing role. I don't know. It's a reason to have a party and an open bar. Speaking of which, they say Uptown, the magazine that she works for, they'll throw a party for the opening of an envelope. Like if they got interns, oh, we're gonna have a party for them. So now we're at the party for Geneva. It is packed. I've actually been to this bar before, like when I used to live in Harlem, when I just moved to New York. It's not somewhere where I would normally go because it's a straight bar. Now already we see Melissa and Mica, they are turning up early. Like the party just started. And it's not even like a party per se. It seems like a cocktail mixer event. It's not something where like the music is booming or whatever. Okay, now here we go. Production is being shady and they're doing a little montage of how many drinks Mica is consuming. Like we already see she's 4 cocktails in. She just lifted that leg up. Oh no, now she getting on top the couch. This is a work event. All the ladies could do, especially Geneva, is just do that little polite, nervous laughter like, ah ha ha ha, yeah girl. Mica is completely devoid of self-awareness at this point. Geneva looks like she's getting increasingly embarrassed, and she tells Mica, this is a work event, chill out. What she should have done if she was really embarrassed was really pull Mica to the side and be like, girl, like this is a work event, please chill, like drink a glass of water. She keeps lifting that leg up and she has like a short dress on. I hope she's wearing underwear. Oh, I forgot to mention y'all, the name of the place is Cove Lounge. New Yorkers in the chat, let me know if you've been there before. So then we see Demetria arrive, and her and Geneva are on good terms now. And Demetria thinks like, oh, well, me showing up to this event is an olive branch. And look, she lives in Brooklyn, so she went to Harlem for this event. So she means it. So then we get a cameo appearance from Daisy's date from episode 2. And now he's telling her how the date went. Speaking of Daisy, we found that she's not coming to the event because she couldn't make it. So then we take a break from the party, and now we're with Daisy as her dad is coming over and she's cooking for him. So the gist of this scene is, it looks like her dad wants Daisy to settle down, like she's working too hard, she needs to focus on finding the man, it looks like. But we can fast forward. So we're back at this party, and Mica and Melissa are cutting up. They are being loud and belligerent. Melissa just screamed a drink order across the room. They're all like, ah! And Mica starts making animal noises. Like, I was like, what am I watching? They're a hot mess. Like, I would have expected this out of Mica, but then Melissa is acting the same way. It's a little jarring. The other ladies are mortified. Geneva's so uncomfortable, she just steps away from the other ladies. I'm definitely on Geneva's side. Like, this is a work event I invite y'all ladies to. This is not a club event. Like, it's not that type of party or environment. Please conduct yourselves like the grown-ass women y'all are. See, this is why you can't have open bar for everybody. Like, if this was a cash bar, I guarantee you the ladies wouldn't have been this drunk. And as Geneva and her boss are speaking on the mic, we see Mica and Melissa just yelling and interrupting. And they just think it's cute. Like, I really can't tell, is it the editing or are they really like this hot of a mess? So as the work event is going on, Mica and Melissa's behavior is just getting worse and worse. They take their shoes off now and they're standing on the couch yelling for Geneva. And then Mica is still doing those animal noises. I can't even do it. But I have secondhand embarrassment watching this. We cut to Geneva's confessional and she's surprised by Melissa's behavior. And she's saying maybe she's having flashback to her whole moments. We then see Geneva increasingly getting mad at the two of them. Security then has to go over to the ladies and tell them to stop standing on the couch. Melissa's like, no, I don't wanna. girl, you are 36 years old. Like, why are you acting like this? So then we see Demetria, she's leaving, she's embarrassed. And as she's standing outside from the party, she's talking to the guy that went on a date with Daisy. He's telling her how the date went because she couldn't hear him inside. And he's saying that she was talking about her and saying that, she said something about her brunch. Demetria, this just pisses her off even more about Daisy. Yeah, he's going in on Daisy and says like she don't have no class. Demetria agrees with him. And now we're back with Daisy talking to her dad. So they're just having a bonding moment. He shows her an old picture of her prom photo and then gives her a gift. And it's just sad watching, knowing how things are now. Because it seems like his daughter is his world. It's very sad. So now we're back at the party. Demetria's gone, and it's just the rest of the ladies. Geneva's mingling around the room. Melissa and Mica, they still a loud, hot mess. Mica continues to keep that leg up. The cameraman then zooms in on her crotch as she's lifting her leg up. Bree's proper ass is mortified. So now that Geneva's bosses have left the event, she's like, let me get these ladies out of here. So now they're on the street. And side note, did y'all see Geneva? She took the bottle from bottle service. I don't know, is that a little tacky to y'all? Because I'm sure she didn't have to pay for that bottle. And it's a bottle of Specca where you can get it for less than $20. Melissa is stumbling, loud, just hanging off of Bree. They're now just waiting on a cab. Also, this is a sign of the times as we see the ladies trying to hail cabs and no one's stopping for their drunk asses, when I'm pretty sure they could have just called an Uber now. God, this was before Uber. That's how long ago this show was on? They are acting a loud, hot mess. They are now in the middle of the street trying to hail a cab. I will say the easiest part of town to catch a yellow cab is in Harlem. Melissa is really in the middle of traffic, and the music producers are using is like the Jumanji drums. So they find a cab, but the guy, like, he's trying to pull off, and Mica still has the door open with her leg out. So then Bree is now yelling at the cab driver. They get into it, so now they get out the cab. Like, it is drama right now. We cut to Geneva's confessional. She's infuriated. She's calling Mica and Melissa a liability. So this particular incident sets up a divide between the ladies that lasts for the rest of the season. So the way the night ends, Bree just decides to call them a cab that's coming in 20 minutes, and that is where the episode ends. This was almost a filler episode until we got to the Uptown party, which I was very entertained by. But let's get into episode 4. Can I just say this theme song was just so interesting? New York, New York, it's so good to be home, I say New York. So we open with Mica and Melissa visiting Daisy in Brooklyn. Now already with these three ladies together, we see that they're the fun girls of the group. The rest of the ladies, Geneva, Demetria, and Bree, they're a little uptight compared to them. They are just having a fun, loud-ass kiki with each other. Meanwhile, we're with Geneva and Demetria meeting up, and Geneva's talking about just how irate Mica and Melissa were at her event. Like, she's still pissed. And I will say, Geneva has a right to be mad at it. Like, Mica and Melissa were way out of line. I'd be pissed off too. So this is when we see that Geneva and Mica start to not be cool anymore because they came in as friends with each other. So both of them are saying that they were surprised by Melissa's behavior, but Mica's not so much. And it seemed like they're implying that she's an alcoholic, especially when Demetria says, every time I see her, she's drunk. I will say though, we're 4 episodes in, and in each one, Mica has a glass of wine in her hand. Like, she's giving Ramona a run for her money. Now Geneva's saying they need to stage an intervention. Damn, in messy production, we're back with the other 3 ladies while Mica's saying, can I have another glass of wine? So now they're talking about the Cove party from their perspective, and they don't remember it. So then we cut to Melissa and them eyebrows in her confessional, and she admits that, it was an open bar, she had fuzzy memory, and she came with the intent to get drunk. So as the ladies are talking, the tone kind of takes a different turn when Mica's talking about how she found out that her dad is sick. I think he's battling cancer. And like, she's just really upset, and the ladies are comforting her. So Melissa's now emotional because I think her father is deceased and she's just telling Mica to really just make amends with her father while he's still here. Now I promise you I'm not trying to be funny, but in this scene it just looks like the emotion is just a little bit more elevated because the two of them are drunk. Anywho, this moment is definitely bonding Daisy, Mica, and Melissa. So next scene we're with Daisy as she's interviewing a potential assistant. Now this scene kind of gives me flashbacks to when I met Amanda in my neighborhood at a coffee shop for an interview to be her assistant. And you know, me and her, we met on Twitter. I mean, y'all know the story. Ooh, I remember being so excited because I really kept up with her career and I was just such a fan. It's just funny where we are now. This interview is very casual. To the point where Daisy's telling her about her last assistant and kind of making fun of what she was wearing. Ooh, hearing Daisy talking in her confessional, it seemed like she would be a nightmare to work for. I don't think this poor girl knows what she's in for. So next scene we're with Mica. She's at her house and she's just giving background about her relationship with her dad and how he's been sick for 2 years and they're falling out as well. Side note, she looks a little disheveled in this scene. I'm not sure if she's, look, throughout this entire first season, I really did think, does Mica have a drinking problem? I don't know, she just looks a little weathered in this particular scene. Maybe it's stress. So now we just see her talking to Terry about her father and just wondering should she be there for him since it seems like he's in his final days and she's getting emotional about it. So next scene we're with Dimitri and Geneva, who are just buddy-buddy lately, and it looks like the next event they're all going to the Hamptons. Geneva's riding with Mica, and she's aware that Mica's dad isn't doing so well, and they might have to take him off life support, but yet she's going to the Hamptons, and they just find that kind of weird. I'm glad that we have the black girls going to Hamptons since this is a New York show. It looks like Melissa and Daisy aren't going though, so it's just gonna be Mica, Bree, Geneva, and Demetria. And it already sounds like a recipe for disaster because Mica don't have her girls with her. Also, I think Geneva should have had a one-on-one with Mica before they went to the Hamptons because I'm sure she's still stewing about how Mica was acting a fool at her event. So we're with Daisy and Melissa, and the reason Melissa can't go to the Hamptons is because she's hosting a party. And since Daisy isn't going to the Hamptons, she wants Daisy to come to this party. Melissa says she's getting $5,000 to host this party, and I'm sure that's way more than what she's making doing real estate. Like I said in my last review, if they're paying you that much to just show up to the party, drink, and speak to people, again, go in the back of that closet and get that freakum dress. So then we come back to Dimitri and Geneva talking about Melissa hosting a party, and they're being very judgmental and they're questioning her finances. Geneva even says she saw her car get declined. And I want to say, Geneva, not too much because you still asking your mom for money because writing ain't paying the bills for you. In her confessional, she's saying insufficient funds. Hashtag insufficient funds. That's why she was probably acting a drunk fool at my party. Yeah, they're being judgmental mean girls, and I think this is when I started to dislike Demetria and Geneva. Now, side note, I just want to point out this eerie foreshadowing in season 1 when Daisy is talking to Melissa about Mica's dad and him possibly passing. And she just said, I just can't imagine the thought of my dad passing away. And she says in her confessional, I know this sounds bad, but I would want to die before my dad. Oh, man, it just made me shiver when I heard that. Anywho, they're talking about the trauma of losing a parent because it changes you. And look, I am not ready. I'm not ready, even though my parents are both in their 70s. So next scene we're with Mica and Terry as she heads to DC to go see her dad before they pull him off life support. So the scene gets a little troubling when Mica says that she needs a glass of Chardonnay before she sees her dad. So she makes Terry stop at a bar so she could get a drink. We definitely start to see the codependency with her and alcohol, followed by the accusations from the ladies in the upcoming episode. So next scene we're with Daisy as she's doing this little trial run with her assistant and she's pulling fashion for a makeover. We see Daisy is, being a little strict. She says in her confessional that there's a reason for it. And Oprah is of course the inspiration for her. So now we're back with Mica and Terry after she's seen her dad, and She says she needs a drink immediately. So we're at dinner with them, and the first thing she orders, Sauvignon Blanc. She needs it. The next scene is the day of the Hamptons trip. We're with Demetria, and she's riding with Geneva and her boyfriend. They're going to stay with Bree's family that stays in the Hamptons. Demetria is worried about Mica going because Mica's dealing with, her father being ill, and she's still wondering why is she coming in the first place. I feel like it's kind of bitchy to question that because people deal with things in different ways. Maybe she wanted to get her mind off of it. We found out that Geneva was supposed to be riding with Mica, but she decided to ride with Demetria instead. Oh, so they're picking up Bree too. So now they have Mica just by herself going to the Hamptons. Speaking of Bree, just watching her on this season, I can see why she wasn't asked back for season 2. Oh my God. So as they're driving to the Hamptons, Mica's name comes up again. They're being judgmental. And Geneva keeps talking about her drinking because she still didn't talk to Mica since her Uptown event. And they're laughing at her even though they're aware of what she's going through with her dad. So next scene we're with Mica, she's being driven to the Hamptons. She's by herself because Terry couldn't make it. She says she hopes this trip is able for her to get her mind off her dad at the moment. Lord, so here we go. Mica's asking the driver, you got any champagne back here? She's joking, but she's like, can we stop at a liquor store so I can get a bottle of wine? A couple of bottles? And then we cut to the ladies as they're driving to the Hamptons, wondering if Mica has an alcohol problem. They're saying that they don't think she's an alcoholic, but she does have a problem with drinking. Geneva's just flat out saying that Mica's an alcoholic. She is still pissed from the last episode. I will say though, as we see Mica going to the liquor store, it just does look like she has a problem. Clearly she's using alcohol to cope what's going on with her dad. Mica couldn't even wait till she got to her destination to open a bottle of wine. She is drinking wine in the back seat in a plastic cup. Okay, so next scene we're at Daisy's shoot for the makeover. I think we could just fast forward over this. So then we see the ladies make it to the Hamptons at Bree's family's house. The plan for them is to wait for Mica so they can all go to dinner together. So now they're just chilling in her family's backyard. Their house is nice, and they're just waiting on Mica. So we're back with Mica, and we found that she's stopping at her cousin's place in the Hamptons so she can drink some more before she sees the other ladies. Oh my God, so she gets to her cousin's place, and messy production, they zoom in on the empty bottle of Pinot Grigio that she drunk in the back of the car. Did she really drink a whole bottle? Let me just rewind right quick to make sure. So here's the bottle. Yeah, y'all, that looks empty. And for her to just leave that in the backseat of that man's car, that was tacky. All right, so we're back with Daisy doing her makeover, blah, blah, blah. The girl looks nice that had the makeover, but it's definitely a sign of the times given with what she's wearing. Next scene, we're back with Mica. So she's back in the car with the same driver on her way to meet the other ladies, and yes, she has a drink in her hand. This scene is so cringe because she's clearly tipsy and she's talking to this driver about nonsense right now. So we're back with the other ladies, and Bree is going overboard. Don't touch that. Oh, shh, we need to be quiet. Oh, my parents are in the house. She's getting annoying. And then Geneva, she keeps bringing up Mica. Girl, let it go. I already know what's going to happen when Mica shows up, but clearly how these women are talking about her, Mica didn't stand a chance. They're all basically expecting Mica to act how she did at Geneva's Uptown event. So a little later, some time passed by, and Mica is still not there, and the other ladies are getting increasingly aggravated. So not only do they have a preconceived notion of how Mica's gonna be, they're now pissed at her for being late. So then Mica finally arrives, and I guess she screamed a bit because she almost fell. She looked like she tipsy. But yeah, the ladies hear it, and here they go already. Mica just shouldn't have came because I feel bad what happens next. They all attacked her at the same time. So as Mica entered the gate, she's being Mica, so she's screaming, "Ah, hey girl!" Look, we don't even get to see what happens next. That is where the episode ends. The next 2 episodes is where things just really hit the fan. So I enjoyed these past 2 episodes, and y'all let me know, whose side are y'all on and what y'all think of the situation right now that Mica's about to jump into. So with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next 2 episodes. Bye.